The klaxons shrieked through the diplomatic vessel's corridors, their wailing pitch designed to pierce even the most insulated chambers. Empress Zaltharian, supreme matriarch of the Krathos Dominion, felt her four hearts hammering in synchronized terror as she swept through the halls, her segmented carapace gleaming obsidian under the emergency lighting. Her children were missing. Not just any offspring. Her newest brood of 6 hunter spawn, each barely 3 cycles old but already possessing retractable talons that could shred duralloy plating and mandibles capable of crushing bone. In Krathos culture, losing track of one's spawn wasn't just dangerous. It was a catastrophic failure of maternal duty that could topple dynasties. Search pattern Theta 9, she commanded, her translator medallion converting her chittering clicks into standard galactic. Seal all airlocks. They cannot have gone far. The human delegation's liaison, a tired-looking woman named Orla, appeared at the intersection ahead, her tablet clutched against her chest. Your Majesty, we're scanning the— My children are loose on this vessel. Zaltharian's voice rose to a frequency that made nearby equipment vibrate. Do your primitive sensors comprehend what that means? They are apex predators. They could be tearing through your crew at this very moment. Orla held up a calming hand, though the Empress noticed the human's pulse quickening, visible through the thin skin at her throat. Such fragile creatures, these humans. We're tracking unusual heat signatures in the engineering section. Deck 7, Compartment 12. The Empress didn't wait for an escort. She flowed through the corridors with terrifying grace, her 6 legs carrying her forward in a blur of chitin and muscle. Behind her, Orla jogged to keep pace, speaking rapidly into her comm device. When they arrived at Engineering Compartment 12, Zaltharian prepared herself for carnage. She'd seen what frightened hunter spawn could do when separated from their matriarch. The instinct to kill anything that moved was hardwired into their developing neural clusters. The door hissed open. The Empress froze. In the center of the maintenance bay, surrounded by scattered tools and half-disassembled reactor components, sat a human male in grease-stained coveralls. His name tag read, Louis Sar Mechanic, and draped across his lap, curled around his shoulders and even perched atop his head, were all 6 of her missing hunter spawn. They were purring. Louis looked up at the sudden intrusion, his weathered face breaking into an easy smile. Oh, hey there. You must be their mum. Don't worry, they're just fine. Little rascals wandered in about an hour ago. Little rascals? Zaltharian's translator struggled with her stunned chittering. Those are killing machines. They have 87 genetically optimized predator adaptations. Their bite force exceeds— Yeah, they're something else, aren't they? Louis scratched under the chin of the spawn perched on his shoulder. It leaned into the touch, its usually terrifying mandibles slack with contentment. Found him poking around my toolbox. Curious little guys. This one here, he gestured to the spawn on his head, really likes the sonic wrench. Keeps trying to eat the vibrations. Orla had caught up, breathing hard. She stared at the scene with her mouth hanging open. The Empress approached slowly, her diplomatic training warring with her maternal instincts. Human Louis, are you aware that my spawn could disembowel you in 2.3 seconds? Could they now? Louis seemed genuinely interested rather than afraid. He continued petting the spawn in his lap, his calloused fingers gentle despite their strength. Well, they seem more interested in napping than disemboweling. Been showing them how a plasma conduit works. They're smart as whips, these kids. One of the spawn, Zaltharian, recognized her third-born by the distinctive silver marking on her carapace, chirped softly, and nuzzled against Louis's neck. The human chuckled, the sound reverberating through his chest. Impossible, the Empress whispered. They have never shown affection to anyone outside our species. They are designed for warfare, not cuddling, Louis supplied helpfully. He shifted carefully, and all 6 spawn adjusted their positions to remain in contact with him. Ma'am, I've worked with all sorts of critters across the galaxy. Raised a few broods myself. Dogs, cats, even had a Centaurian fluff beast once. And I'll tell you something. Don't matter how many teeth or claws something has. Young things all want the same stuff. Safety, warmth, someone to pay attention to them. He scratched another spawn behind what might have been its auditory organs. Your kids wandered in here scared and overwhelmed. Big ship, lots of noise, separated from Mum. So I just sat down, let 'em check me out, talked to 'em soft-like, and they decided I was safe. Zaltharian felt something shift in her understanding of the universe. For cycles, her species had believed their hunter spawn were too dangerous, too feral for cross-species interaction. It was why the Dominion kept their young isolated until maturity. It was why they were feared across 17 systems. And here was this grease-stained human mechanic without any weapons or defenses, treating her most dangerous offspring like children. How? She asked simply. Lewis shrugged, the spawn on his shoulders bobbing with the movement. Maybe it's a human thing. We're pretty good at domesticating stuff. Started with wolves about 40,000 years ago. Been at it ever since. We see something wild and think, bet we could be friends. He gently lifted the spawn from his lap and stood, careful not to disturb the others. Here, why don't you take over? They've been asking for you, well, in their way. Lots of clicking and looking toward the door. Zaltharian approached and immediately her spawn swarmed to her, their small talons clicking against her carapace in greeting. Relief flooded through her 4 hearts. But they kept glancing back at Lewis, chittering in what she now recognized as contentment rather than aggression. Thank you, human, she said formally. You have done the Dominion a great service. Lewis waved it off, returning to his plasma conduit. Just doing what anyone would do. Though if you're ever looking to set up cultural exchange programs, I'd be happy to help out. Your kids have some questions about engineering I'd love to answer. As Orla escorted the Empress and her spawn back to the diplomatic chambers, Zaltharian found herself reconsidering everything she thought she knew about humans. They were weak, yes, fragile and short-lived, but they possessed something her species had engineered out of themselves generations ago. They possessed the ability to see past teeth and claws and find the person underneath. Perhaps that, she mused, was the most dangerous human adaptation of all.